Hello everyone, this is Dr. Suman, Associate Professor from the Department of Civil Engineering, AGIT Mangalore. Today I'll be dealing with the concept of radius of gyration. We have already looked into the concept of moment of inertia in the previous classes. Now, the moment of inertia concept is very important in the design problems, and we found out how to find the moment of inertia, how to mark the reference axis, and from there how to find the centroid, and further moment of inertia of about the given axis. Like sometimes we are supposed to find out the moment of inertia about the x-x axis, sometimes the y-y axis. So we found that moment of inertia of the same figure varies depend upon the distribution of the mass and distribution of the area, or it changes with respect to which axis we are finding the moment of inertia. So now we'll move on to the next concept, which is one of the important concept, that is the radius of gyration. So this is the x and y axis, a two-dimensional lamina is present over here, whose area is A, and as we already solved problems of centroid, we know that in the whole area A there are number of subdivided small components of each of area, could be A1, A2, and its respective distance from the x-axis is y1, y2. Likewise, many components exist within this total plane figure. Now, if the entire area A is converted into a small elemental area, a small strip likewise, whose area is also A, and the moment of inertia of the figures, when the entire area is concentrated over one point, if the moment of inertia remains unchanged or unaltered, then that distance from the x-axis is called as the radius of gyration. So this distance k from the x-axis is nothing but the radius of gyration. So according to this equation, that is, I is the moment of inertia about the x-x axis, then it is Ix bar divided by the total area, that gives you the radius of gyration about the x-x axis. That is, now once again I repeat, the moment of inertia of the entire figure is unaltered in this concept. So that k which I obtain without altering the moment of inertia of this figure is called as the radius of gyration. So by definition, it is the distance from the given axis where the whole area of a plane figure is assumed to be concentrated so as to not alter the moment of inertia about the given axis. Now you might get a doubt, how did this equation arrive? That is, this is a moment of inertia, this is the total area A, and kx is this distance. So if I take the moment of area of this plane about the x-axis, it is A into k. That is the first moment of area. Again, if I multiply this distance, ak into, again if I multiply k, then it becomes second moment of area. So it is ak squared, which is nothing but Ix bar. Okay, so I bring it down here, Ix divided by a, k squared, the square root I have brought it on the right hand side. So I get this equation for radius of gyration as kx is equal to square root of Ix bar divided by a. Similarly, if I take the distances x from the y axis, the x distances, if I replace the entire figure by this one, the y distance will be this. Okay, so about which axis you are rotating, that axis, the distance with respect to that axis is nothing but the radius of gyration with that. So when we calculate, we find out the amongst these two, we may need to calculate which is the least radius of gyration in the problems. So we need to know how to calculate the radius of gyration. So by knowing the radius of gyration, we can actually understand what is the distribution of the area, how the mass distribution has happened. If the k value here you get higher value, that means the moment of inertia is higher. Okay, then the mass, there could be a possible mass distribution. If it is lower, then there may be concentration of the mass towards the axis of rotation. Now radius of gyration in different areas, it might be calculated in different way. For example, in structural engineering, we have structural mechanics, what we are dealing now with, and there is also structural dynamics. In structural mechanics, we are concentrating on the area part. There is a distribution of the cross-sectional, distribution of the sectional area. Okay, whereas that's what it says, that radius of gyration is used to describe the distribution of cross-sectional area in a column around its rotational axis. Its application is in the studying of the buckling of the columns. Columns are basically the structural components of the buildings, and buckling of the columns means bending of the column along the vertical axis. So to study that, this concept is used, whereas in structural dynamics, we are concentrating on the distribution of the mass of the object, about its rotational axis. So what you need to concentrate is about the area distribution. So in centroid also we have found out what is the moment of area. So here the next step is second moment of area, that is once again you are multiplying with the x distance and then finding out what is the moment of inertia. So we'll solve the first problem. You will get an idea of how to calculate the moment of inertia and how to calculate the radius of gyration. Determine the moment of inertia of the section shown in figure about the centroidal axis. Calculate the least radius of gyration for the section as well. So this is basically a C section which is not symmetrical about any axis. So you assume that the centroidal axis will lie somewhere here. So it is the x-x axis and the y-y axis. Now our reference axis, from where, since it is not symmetrical about any axis, I'll be taking a reference axis. Reference axis is important here, that is the bottommost portion here I will consider the 1 1 axis, and left corner I will consider the 2 2 axis. I will split the C section into number of rectangles 1, 2 and 3, and how I have calculated for centroid in the similar way I will go about. Write the first component, that is a rectangle. Write here rectangle 1, area you find out 120 into 10, 1200. Next one is this distance, the whole distance is 120, remove this 10 mm, remove this 10 mm, you will get 100, 100 into 12, that is 1200. Third rectangle is 180 into 10, 1800. Sum up everything, you'll get summation area 4200. Next, the x distance of each rectangle. X distance is always measured from the y reference axis, that is 2 to. From here, where is the centroid of the rectangle 1? For rectangle, I have total distance as b as 120 divided by 2 because it always lies at the center. It is 60. Next one is width is 12 divided by 2, 6. The whole length is 180 divided by 2, 90. Y distance from the 1 axis for the first rectangle, it is 10 plus 100, 110 plus 10 by 2. And next one is 10 plus 100, 110. Till here it is 110 plus 10, 120 divided by 2. This one is 10 divided by 2. Now find out what is AX, AY, AX square, AY square. Calculate each one of that and write the respective values. Sum up everything similar to the case of centroid. Sum up this and then move on to finding Ix bar. For rectangle, we know Ix bar is BD cube by 12. So all three cases it's the same, BD cube by 12. Find out this. Here it is DB cube by 12, D10, B cube 120 cube divided by 12. Find out Iy bar. Sum up everything. Next, I need to find out what is I211 and I22. Before that, find out what is x bar and y bar. X bar is nothing but summation Ax divided by summation A. Summation Ay divided by summation A will give you y bar. So you found out what it is. Now we have simply, it's not necessary that you should draw the centroidal axis priorly. Once you find out what is x bar and y bar, then you may plot with respect to the x axis and the reference y axis. That is, x bar is a distance from 2 to 57.428, somewhere outside it will lie because this thickness is 12. With respect to 2 to axis, 57.47428. Y bar is at a distance of 52.143. So somewhere here you will get the point x bar y bar. Now our next aim is to find out what is asked in the question. It is asked, determine the moment of inertia of the section shown in figure about the centroidal axis and calculate the least radius of gyration for the section as well. About the centroidal axis means I should get Ix bar and Iy bar I am supposed to get, and after that I am supposed to find out the radius of gyration kx and ky. Amongst that, which is the least value I need to write on. So first, I know according to the parallel axis theorem, that is I11 is equal to summation I bar plus summation Ay square. So summation I bar is this value, summation Ay square is this value. So please substitute here the same values. You will get I11. Once you get I11, that is the moment of inertia about this axis I11. After that I am supposed to find out the moment of inertia about the centroidal axis. You have found the centroid is somewhere here. So I think the centroid is here. I am supposed to find the moment of inertia about the centroidal axis, x-axis, centroidal y-axis. So first I need to find out I11 according to parallel axis theorem. Then I am supposed to reach to Ix bar. So we finish calculating I11. Going to Ix bar, which is equal to what I11 you get over here minus a y bar square. Total area 4200. Look into tabular column. Total area is 4200, and in bracket y bar square. Y bar we found it as 52.143 square. So we got the Ix bar, which is equal to so much. Centroidal x-axis, moment of inertia about the centroidal x-axis. Similarly, find out I22, that is summation of I bar, summation of Iy bar 6.3162 here, plus summation Ax squared. Summation Ax squared is from this tabular column 18.943 into 10 raised to 6. So substitute that value here and you will get I22. Once you found out the I22, then it is, this is I22. So I22 minus a x bar square. Look into your parallel axis theorem. You will understand how these formulas have arrived. Okay. So I y bar is equal to I22 minus a x bar square. So x bar you have found out here 57.428. Substitute here, 4200 is the area. I22 just now you found out. So you will get the I x bar, I y bar, and then find out the radius of gyration. 4200 is the area. Respective Ix bar, Iy bar you substitute, find out Kx and Ky. Out of this, the minimum is the least radius of gyration. Okay. We'll move on to the next problem. Find the least radius of gyration about the x-axis and y-axis of the shaded area shown in figure. So in the previous problem, we had directly a C-section. There is no shaded area and there is no cutoff area here. Here it is only the shaded area. Whereas in this problem, the next problem, you've already worked out moment of inertia problem in the second video lecture you have seen. So here our semicircle has been a cutout portion. So you can assume the rectangle, you can assume the triangle, or any figures you can split into, any geometrical figures you can split into and find out the Ix bar and Iy bar. Okay, but you should get the same x bar and y bar, right? Because you are rotating about the same reference axis, correct? So here you are supposed to find out the least radius of gyration about x-axis and y-axis of the shaded area shown in figure. Now what I will do is I will split this figure into one whole rectangle, one semicircle and one triangle, in which semicircle is the cutout portion. So first let us go to this rectangle whose area is 55 into 100, 5500. Area of the triangle half into base 100 into 30, 1500. Semicircle is pi r squared by 2. Pi r squared is 25 squared by 2. This is the cutoff portion, so it is minus. X distance from the reference axis 2 to for each of the figure. For rectangle, you know it is always at the center, so it is 100 divided by 2, it is 50. So x distance is 50. For the triangle, please note, from the, if the apex of the triangle is this, here it is this, from this side it is always 2/3 of 100. From this side, if you are taking the distance, it is 1/3 of 100. What is 100? 100 is the base of the triangle. Same way, from this side, CG will lie at a distance of 2/3 of 30, and from this side till here where CG is lying, it is 1/3 of 30. Please don't get confused with this concept, okay? And so 2/3 of 100, from this point for triangle CG will lie over here, 2/3 of this whole 100. You get it as 66.667. Okay. Now coming to the semicircle. Semicircle CG will lie somewhere here. Centroid will lie somewhere here. So what is the distance from the 2 axis? That is 50 plus it is lying on the diametrical axis of the semicircle. So directly it is d by 2. D by 2 is 50 divided by 2, 25. So it is 75. Centroid of the semicircle is lying here, 75. Whereas centroid is lying here. Whereas for the y-axis, that is CG will lie along this. That is why here it is d by 2. Okay. Whereas in the case of y distance, it is lying at 4r by 3 pi. That is why y is given as 4r by 3 pi. R is 25 divided by 3 pi. That is 10.61. Okay. Coming to rectangle. Rectangle's distance with respect to the 1 axis, that is from here midpoint of this. Total is how much? 55. 55 divided by 2 is 27.5. How about the triangle? From 1 axis, triangle is at a distance of 25 plus 30, that is 55. 55 plus here, no, the centroid is, so it is from this side I told you it is 1/3 of 30. So 55 plus 1/3 of 30. 1/3 of 30 is how much? 10. That's why directly they have written it as 10. So 55 plus 10 is 65 for the triangle. Okay. Then a into x, a into ax into x, ax square. Likewise, similarly, multiply all the a's with x and you will get ax. Multiply all the a with y, you will get ay. Then ax with x once again, you will get ax square. Ay with y once again, you will get ay square. Then move on to finding out the ix bar for each of the figure, moment of inertia of each of the figure. So you should know the formula for the moment of inertia of each type of geometric shape. That is for rectangle it is BD cube by 12. For triangle, okay, triangle it is B D cube by 36. B D cube by 36. So the other one also for IY bar will come later. So BD cube by 36. For semicircle, look back into your derivation. For semicircle, it is semicircle Ix bar. Look into the derivation. You will get to know how we got minus is because cutoff area 0.1125 to the power 4. That is r to the power 4. Okay. So IY bar, this is because of the cutoff region. Ix bar you have calculated for all the three figures. Go to the IY bar. For rectangle it is DB cube by 12. For your triangle it is DB cube by 36. Okay. And for semicircle it is minus pi r to the power 4 divided by 8 for IY bar when the semicircle is placed in this position. Okay. So next, finding out the summation of each value, then finding out x bar and y bar, that is the centroid, summation ax divided by summation a, summation ay divided by summation a, you will get the centroid of the figure. Then going on to what are we supposed to find out? We are supposed to find out least radius of gyration about the x-axis and y-axis. So they have asked both ix bar and iy bar. Afterwards, if you want to reach to radius of gyration, you have to find out ix bar and iy bar. But however, it depends. If they have asked only radius of gyration over about x-axis, then no need of finding for y-axis, correct? So but in this case, we are supposed to find out the radius of gyration for both x as well as the y-axis. So you need to calculate ix bar and iy bar. To calculate ix bar, we need to know what is the moment of inertia about the reference axis 1 1 and reference axis 2 2. How are you going to find out that? Using the parallel axis theorem. What is the parallel axis theorem? I11 is equal to summation of ix bar plus summation of ay squared. Summation of ix bar is this value and summation ay squared is this value. So please don't forget the equation. When it comes to x-axis, I11, here it is located along the x-axis. I11 is here. So when I11 is along x-axis, it is summation ix bar plus summation a y squared. Okay, y is the distance from the x-axis, the x reference axis. Okay, so write down the corresponding value, find out I11. Okay, after that we are supposed to do this step actually. Ix bar is equal to I11 minus total area into y bar square. Y bar for the whole figure we have found out it to be 39.602 whole square into area. Area we have found out in the figure in the tabular column 6018. So you substitute that value, minus sign here, which is this value I11 which we found out over here. Okay, similarly I22 which is equal to summation I y bar, because 22 is along the y axis, reference axis, I y bar is along this centroidal axis, y centroidal axis. So parallel axis theorem along this. So it is plus a summation, here this is summation like this, summation ax squared. So when it is I22, it is iy bar, and here it is x squared because the distance x is from reference axis 2 2. Okay, so ax squared, summation ax squared is this one. Okay, so substitute the respective value here, find out what is I22, and from the parallel axis theorem we have I22 minus a x bar square. X bar is what you found out here for the figure, 50.07. 50.07 area of the summation of the area of all the geometrical shapes minus, and I22 is what you found out just now. So you get Ix bar and Iy bar. Substitute the values in the equation of radius of gyration. Find out what is the radius of gyration along x-axis and along y-axis. So the least among the two or the highest among the two is asked. Respectively write the value. Okay. We'll move on to another type of problem, that is find the polar radius of gyration for the area shown in figure. What is this polar radius of gyration? Radius of gyration in the x and y axis you saw. When it is with respect to the z axis, it is known as the polar radius of gyration, kz, which is equal to Iz bar divided by a. According to parallel axis theorem, perpendicular axis theorem, we found that Iz bar, how to find out Iz bar, you have seen, we have worked out a problem also, polar moment of inertia we found out, I believe. So this is the formula for that. Find out Iz bar and substitute in this equation, you will get the polar radius of gyration for the given area. This figure consists of a semicircle, a rectangle and another rectangle. So there are three components in this. Please write down semicircle, rectangle and rectangle 3. They have not told you about what you are supposed to take the x and y axis. Okay, but you should be aware that if I want to reach to the polar radius of gyration, then I need to find out what is, according to the formula, I need to find out what is Ix bar and Iy bar. But where is Ix bar? Along this axis, centroidal x-axis, and where is Iy bar? Along the centroidal y-axis. Okay. So we'll start the problem. Write the component. So write the components, that is semicircle, this is 1, then the rectangle 2, another rectangle, that is 3. Write the area of the semicircle, pi r squared by 2, r is 6 mm, so pi 6 squared divided by 2, you got the area of the semicircle. Next is the rectangle, 12 into 4, that is 4 into 12, 48. Third rectangle is 4 into 24, 96. Find out the summation of the area. Okay. Now if you look at the figure, it is symmetrical about one axis. Yes, your guess is right. That is, it is symmetrical about the y-axis. So no need of going for the x distance calculation. Okay. About this, it is symmetrical means Iy bar is along this. So directly you can find out what is Iy bar. However, in the case of y is with respect to, you take a reference axis here, with respect to this bottommost line, you please find out the y distances. So if I have to reach the semicircle, the distance is 4 plus 12, 16, 16 plus, for semicircle, moment of inertia, centroid will be somewhere here. So from here it is 4r by 3 pi, correct? 4r by 3 pi. So 18.546. For the second figure, the rectangle, moment, centroid is somewhere here. 12 divided by 2 plus 4. That is 4 plus 12 divided by 2, 10 you will get. For this rectangle, depth 4 divided by 2 is 2. So then multiply area into respective y distances, you will get ay. Ay into y, again you will get ay square. Summation of ay, summation of ay square. Summation of ay divided by 224 will give you the y bar, which is 8.731 millimeter. Okay, now let us calculate the Ix bar for each of the figure. For semicircle, it is 0.11 r to the power 4. Okay, so it is 142.56. It is positive. It is in the positive x-axis, as well as it is not the cutout portion. Okay, so here it is the plus sign. Rectangle is b d cube divided by 12. B is 6. Here there is a mismatch. Here it's given b is 4 and here it is 6. Okay, so it is whatever b is given, you take. Bd cube by 12 is equal to so much. Third rectangle is b24, d is 4, bd cube by 12. Okay, so The other one is IGY for the semicircle. IG1 centroid, a moment of inertia about this axis, that is pi r to the power 4 divided by 8. You'll get so much. For the semicircle, please check what is the moment of inertia from the derivation. It is pi r to the power 4 divided by 8. Next one is rectangle D, b cube by 12. D, b cube by 12. So in the previous case we used for the rectangle 4 millimeter, right? So here also please correct this, put 4 here, put 4 here, okay, and respective values you please take. And the third rectangle is D, b cube by 12. Sum of the Ix and sum of the Ig, Y. So 4608 plus 216, 4824 plus 500. So somewhere in terms of 5332. So directly you get it as summation of all gy's, Igy's will give you Iy bar directly, because it is symmetrical about the y-axis. Whereas Ix bar, find out the summation of this, summation of Ix bar, which is 1134 when you add these three, 1134.56 plus summation ay squared will give you the moment of inertia about the axis 1 here. You please mark here 1 reference axis. So I11 is equal to summation Ix bar, this value sum up, plus summation ay squared. Summation ay squared is nothing but 24.634 into 10 raised to 3. So finally you get I11. From I11, if I subtract A into Y bar square, A is the total area, Y bar is what you found out here, 8.731 whole square. Subtracted from this value I11, you will get Ix bar. Ix bar, that is the centroidal moment of inertia about the centroidal axis x-axis. So we have found out what is Ix, we have found out what is Iy bar. Now I am supposed to find out the moment of inertia about the z-axis, that is Ix bar plus Iy bar, polar moment of inertia. Just sum up the two values, you will get 16.384 into 10 raised to 3 millimeter to the power 4. Please remember, moment of inertia unit is millimeter to the power 4. Why? Because it is Ax squared. A is area, millimeter square, into x squared, millimeter square. So it is millimeter to the power 4. Now find out the polar radius of gyration, Kz, which is equal to Iz bar divided by area. Iz bar we found out from here. A is the total area from the of all the components here from the tabular column. So find out what we have found out, what is the polar radius of gyration. Next problem is determine the moment of inertia about the horizontal axis of the plane lamina shown in figure. Determine the moment of inertia about the horizontal axis of the plane. About the horizontal axis of the plane lamina. Also find K about the horizontal axis. When I say K about the horizontal axis of the plane lamina shown in figure. So it is, you are supposed to find out Kx. Okay, this is the reference axis. 1 is the reference axis. When I say horizontal axis of the plane is xx, please note I need to find out Ix bar, and from there about the horizontal axis it is Ix bar divided by this area, you will get Kx. So you are supposed to find out Ix bar and kx. This is, in this figure you can see this is the cutoff portion. Cutoff portion is of a semicircle. So just check how many components this figure can be broken down so that you can solve the problem easily. So this figure can be easily split into 4 components, that is one rectangle here, one triangle here, another rectangle here, another semicircle cutoff portion, and a triangle. So whenever there is a cutoff portion, please remember your area is minus. Okay, semicircle's area will be minus, which you are cutting off. Because of area being minus, a into y. Okay, so this also becomes minus. Area is minus, so even this will be minus. Okay, and moreover, even here the semicircle moment of inertia about the ix, there is ix bar, here also you have to include the minus sign. So coming to triangle first, this is half into base 50 into height is 120, so half into base into height, you'll get 3000 as the area of this triangle. Similarly, when we go to this rectangle, it is 140 into 120, 16,800 area. Semicircle pi r square by 2. See, here it is written as 10. However, if you look up here, the distance is 140 mm. This width is 140 mm. So the diameter is 140. Radius is 70 mm of the semicircle. So please make the correction here. This is 70 mm. So it is pi r square divided by 2, 70 square divided by 2. As it is a cutoff portion, there is a minus sign here. Next, last one is the triangle, half into base into height, 50 into 120. So this is 3000. Okay. Next, coming to the y distances. Y distances is, when I go directly to y, you might ask me why not the x distances. First thing is, they have not asked you about the vertical axis of the plane lamina. They have asked you only the moment of inertia about the horizontal axis of the plane, that is ix bar is asked, correct? So we don't need to venture into iy bar. Okay, so here only kx is asked. Even if it is asked, then it is symmetrical about the y-axis. So you can find out I bar gy for each of the component, and then I y bar directly you can find out because it is symmetrical about the y-axis. Okay. Going further, I will calculate what is the y distance for each of the component. So coming to this triangle with respect to 1 1 axis, where is the centroid lying? It is lying here. So from here, from apex, if I would have come, it is 2/3 of 50 for x component, but I am bothered about the y component here. Y is with respect to 1 1 axis, so somewhere here CG will be lying. It is 1/3 of 120. Okay, 1/3 of 120 is 40. Coming to the rectangle, rectangle is half of the depth. Centroid will lie somewhere in the midpoint here. 120 by 2. 120 by 2 it is, not 12. 120 by 2, which is 60. Semicircle, centroid will lie somewhere here. So the y distance is 4r by 3 pi. 4r, r is 170, 70. So it is 4 into 70 divided by 3 pi. Next, coming to this triangle, CG centroid will lie somewhere here, which is at a distance of 1/3 of 120. Okay, from this side if you are coming, it is 2/3 of 120. It will lie somewhere here. From this side if you are coming, it is 1/3 of 120. It is 40. Now simply multiply the area column and the y distances, get the ay. This ay again, if you multiply with the y, you will get ay square. Write down the respective value. Then go on to ix bar for each component. For triangle it is bd cube by 36. Okay, bd cube by 36. The area of the and the sides of the triangle is same, so the same value you fill in the fourth triangle as well. For the rectangle we have b 140, d is 120 cube divided by 12. For the semicircle we have 0.11 r to the power 4 minus, because it is the cutout portion, so ix bar we have calculated for all the components. Just sum up everything, find out the summation ay divided by summation a, you will get the y bar, and you need that y bar to be substituted over here. That is when you calculate the ix bar. First, you from the parallel axis theorem find out I11 is summation of ix bar. I11 is summation of ix bar plus ay squared, summation of ay squared. You'll get it as 85.607 into 10 raised to 6 millimeter to the power 4. Then find out, subtract from that total area into y bar square. Total area into y bar square. Y bar square, please find out ay divided by this area. You will get it as 63.516 whole square. Get the ix bar. Substitute that in the radius of gyration along x-axis divided by area. You will get 40.421 is the radius of gyration in the x-axis with respect to the x-axis. Correct? Next, another problem, that is find the polar moment of inertia of the plane lamina about point O. They have specified about point O. You are supposed to find out the polar moment of inertia. So our formula is OZ is equal to IOZ bar is equal to IOX bar plus IOY bar. Okay. So for this reason I have to find out what is IOX and IOY, that is moment of inertia about this axis and this axis, in order to find out the moment of inertia about this axis which is perpendicular to the plane, this plane, XY plane. Okay, so let us first decide how many components are you going to split into. The entire rectangle, what is the distances, you please calculate. This quadrant radius is given as 100 mm. Okay, this quadrant is 100 mm. So this 100 mm plus 300 mm total is 400 mm. Okay, this is 100 means along this point it is 100. So it is 100 plus 150, it is 250. So the whole rectangle is 250 into 400. 250 into 400, 1 lakh. Okay, next one is I want to take off this cutoff region triangle. So it is half into base. This whole is 400 minus 75, it is 325, and this height is 150. Half into 325 into 150. You get this answer. Next one is the third figure is my circle, which is a cutout portion. I have to subtract it. So it is minus pi r square. R is what? 40. Pi r square. Quadrant is also a cutoff portion. So it is r of this is 100, I told you. It is a cutoff portion. So minus pi 100 square divided by 4. See all these how to calculate the area of each quadrant, circle, triangle, rectangle, all the formulas you should know. So, similarly, you should know how to calculate the x distances, and later you need to know what is the ix bar, iy bar for each of the geometrical shapes. Only then you will be able to solve the problem. Okay, and now after finding out the area, these two are the cutoff portion, so negative values, just sum up everything, you'll get 62.744 into 10 raised to 3. Okay, now we'll go for the x distances from the y axis for each of the figure. For rectangle, by now you are very sure what is x distance. For rectangle, it is half of the breadth, that is 400 divided by 2 is 200. And for triangle, from y axis up to this point, see the centroid will lie somewhere here. From this side it is 1/3 of the base, 1/3 of 325. So it is 1/3 of 325, 108.33. So I have told you from the apex side it is 2/3. From this side if you are finding it is 2/3. Whereas from this portion it is 1/3 of this side. So if you are calculating this, it is 1/3 of this side. If you are calculating the y from this side. Okay. So circle, the radius is given as 40. What is this distance? I told you it is 325. 325, right? We have already calculated this as 325. Or if, since it is marked from this side also, it is the same point. For the circle, we know the centroid will lie at the center. So whole thing is 400 minus 75 they have done over here. Okay. So you can otherwise also you can do this distance. We have already found that this edge is coinciding here. It is 325. For quadrant with respect to the y-axis, somewhere here the centroid will lie. That is 4r by 3 pi. 4r by 3 pi. R is 100. Find out that value. Next, coming to the y distances. Y distances from the OX axis. Y distance for each of the figure. For the rectangle, it is y distance will be, total is 250. 250 divided by 2. 250 divided by 2 is 125 with respect to OX. Okay. Next one is, second figure is triangle. I have to reach up till here. So the distances are from OX, it is this from here to here, radius of the quadrant is 100. So 100 plus from apex side if you are going, it is 2/3 of this distance. Then only we can reach this point. So 2/3 of 150 plus 100. 2/3 of 150 plus 100, which is equal to 200. Okay. Then coming to the circle, this quadrant radius is 100. Along the same line lies the CG of the center of the circle. So this distance is 100. So from the x-axis, OX axis, it is at a distance of 100. Directly you can write 100. What about the quadrant? This distance is 4r by 3 pi. Correct? From here till here also it is 4r by 3 pi. From here to here also it is 4r by 3 pi for the quadrant. So once you have found out x and y, we need polar moment of inertia. So both x and y is needed, and nowhere it is symmetrical. The figure is not symmetrical about any axis. So we need to find out separately ix bar and iy bar. So that is why we have done both x and y. So now just simply multiply the column of area into x. You will get ax. To make the tabular column look simple, they have just put the into 10 raised to 6 here. It exists everywhere throughout. Then you can just add that into 10 raised to 6 at the summation value. First calculate the area column into the x, you will get ax. Area column into y, you will get ay. Multiply this ax into x, you will get ax square. Multiply ay into y, you will get ay square. Summation of each of the figures. Okay. Since area is minus over here, all this you will get minus. There are three cutouts basically, that is why in all three we have the minus. Somehow you calculate the summation of each value, summation of area also you got. Now move on to calculating the Ix bar. Ix bar for the rectangle b cube by 12, b cube by 12. So of the rectangle you take the respective b's, that is 400, d is 250. Substitute in the formulas for the moment of inertia and find out the answer for that. For the triangle we have, it's a cutout portion, so I am using again minus over here. B d cube by 36, d b cube by 36. Okay, here also the minus sign will come. So for triangle you know the formula. For circle, please look into your derivations. It is Ix bar is given as minus pi r to the power 4 divided by 4, minus because of the cutout portion. So find out that. And for the circle Iy bar, please check into the derivation. Okay, please check into the derivations, that is for circle and the circle and the quarter circle we have both Ix bar, Iy bar, same here. Look into the derivations and same value is written over here. Next to the summation of the Ix bars, please take care of the negative sign. Summation of the Ix and Iy bars. Next we are supposed to find out what is the using the parallel axis theorem. Using the parallel axis theorem along IOX is equal to summation Ix bar plus area y square, correct? Summation ay square, that is Ix bar is 4.828 into 10 raised to 8 plus a y square 0.524 into 10 raised to 9. So summing up these both you will get 1.0068 into 10 raised to 9. So IOY you have summation Iy bar, this value, plus summation ax squared is this value, into 10 raised to 8, that is this much you get. Then find out the polar moment of inertia about the z axis, about the point O, perpendicular to x and y plane. So finally you will get the moment of inertia about the point O. Next one is the determine the moment of inertia and the radius of gyration of the area shown in figure about the base AB and the centroidal axis parallel to AB. So the first the reference axis is given as AB and parallel to that the centroidal axis which is parallel to AB. Determine the moment of inertia and radius of gyration of the area shown in figure, that means the shaded area, about the base AB. K AB you should find, K X you should find. So first this figure is simple, that is you have only one triangle and one cutout rectangle, that is 30 into 20. There is a cutout, so it is minus 600. Triangle is half into base 100 into 90, 4500 you will get area of the triangle minus the area of the rectangle. Okay, y distances is with respect to AB, so For this entire triangle, the CG may be somewhere here. So the whole depth is 90. At this point it is 1/3 of 90 is 30. Okay, from the apex side if you are doing, it is 2/3 of 90. Okay, but we need with respect to AB axis, so it is 1/3 of 90. You got 30. Then rectangle CG centroid will lie somewhere here, that is 30 plus 30 by 2 is 45. Then multiply the area and y column, you will get so much. AY into y, you will get AY square. Then go to IX bar. IX bar for the triangle is BD cube by 36. This is the cutout portion, so it is minus here. BD cube by 12 is for rectangle. IX bar. Sum up all the values and find out what is the summation values. Now I am supposed to find out the KAB and K centroidal axis parallel to AB. Centroidal axis parallel to AB is I x bar and K x bar accordingly. So if this is similar to I11, so instead of I11 it is IAB here. So it is summation IX bar plus summation AY square. AY square. This one plus this one. You'll get IAB. From this value, if I might, I need IAB. Sorry, directly I need IAB as well as I need IX bar. For IX bar, subtract this from this value minus A into X, Y bar square. Y bar is summation AY divided by A. You found out the Y bar. Substitute here. Total area is 3900. So find out IX bar. IAB you found out. IX bar you found out. Find out what is the radius of gyration about AB. That is KAB. Radius of gyration about the centroidal axis KX. Find out. Substitute the respective values and find out what is KB and KX. Okay. So we have one more problem. Compute the second moment of built up area shown in figure about its horizontal centroidal axis and find the corresponding radius of gyration. When you say horizontal centroidal axis, okay, somewhere here the IX bar and corresponding radius of gyration is KX. You are supposed to find out. So you need to find out IX bar and KX. And what about the figure? The figure is symmetrical about the y-axis. But however, we are not bothered to find out the IX bar because it is not asked. What is asked, you please address only that. So how many components are there in this? You may consider this as one rectangle, this is another rectangle, and this whole as one more rectangle, and this in between there is a protruding portion right here. Okay, this one rectangle and this as one more rectangle. Okay, so let us start from the topmost portion. Take this as the first rectangle, then this as the second, this whole thing as the third, and this small portion projecting outside as the fourth rectangle. So it is 100 into 10. This is 50, 50 plus 50, 100. This whole 100 into 10, 1000 you will get. Second rectangle is here. It's given as 40 plus 40, 80 into 10, 800. Third rectangle is 30 into 10 plus 10 plus 10, 30. 30 into 30, 900. Fourth rectangle is 25 into 10. That is 250. Summation of all the areas, you will get 2950. Next move on to the y distances because I need IX bar, correct? So the y distances with respect to this reference axis, correct? Yeah. So from here you begin. 25 plus 30 plus 10 is 55. 65 plus half of this 10 is 70. Next rectangle, this rectangle, 25 plus 30, 55. 55 plus 10 by 2 is 60. Third rectangle is this one. So it is 25 plus 30 by 2. 25 plus 30 by 2 is 40. This rectangle half of 25 is 12.5. Now multiply the area into y. Find out ay. Ay into y, ay square. Ix bar for each of the rectangle. The formula is bd cube by 12. So for all the 4 rectangles the same formula. Sum up the ix bars, sum up ay squares, sum up ay divided by summation a, you will get y bar distance, that is y bar is the centroidal y distance, you will get 53.26. So moment of inertia about the base, if you consider the base here reference axis as I11, so I11 is equal to summation Ix bar from the tabular column plus summation ay square, that is 95,520 plus 9.25 into 10 raised to 6. You will get I11 moment of inertia about the reference axis. Moment of inertia about the reference axis minus total area into y bar square, you will get Ix bar. So Kx is equal to Ix bar divided by the area 2950 square root, you will get 18.282. So we have found out the radius of gyration about the x-axis. So these are the different types of problems which can appear in the moment of inertia and the centroid concepts. So please go through once more the videos of centroid and the moment of inertia and get a complete picture of how to calculate the moment of inertia about any given axis, how to find out the radius of gyration about any given axis. So have a clear picture of everything and practice the problems. That's all for in this video. Thank you.